Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the wonderful introduction. I do appreciate it. And once again, thank you all for being with us today. Before I start my presentation, I do like to start by wishing you and your families my personal best for your health and safety in these difficult times. I would like also to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to our campus administrator, Sir Joe, our Director for Administration and Finance, Sir Nestor, and Director for Research and Extension, Engineer G.J. Bartolome, for their unending support and leadership. And the members of the team for your hard work, and to those who have helped me these past few weeks. We all know that it is very challenging, but here we are now ready to give insights to the whole CVSU SICAT community. As we continue monitoring the COVID-19 pandemic situation and the fact that more variants of coronaviruses are already widespread in the community, I wanted to tell you a bit about how we will keep you safe here inside the campus. It is our university's continuing commitment to ensure everyone's safety by taking proactive steps to maintain a safe workplace and to adapt practices, protecting the health of the employees, customers, visitors, and students. The objective is not to eliminate all potential risks, but to provide a systematic and feasible path for operation within the pandemic environment. The university community will need to remain flexible, patient, and empathetic as we move forward. So being part of the CVSU SICAT community, it is our responsibility to acknowledge, prior to returning to campus, the serious nature of COVID-19 virus, the importance of each individual's knowledge of the risk presented by the virus, the need to monitor their own health and safety, and the need to notify appropriate personnel if they are symptomatic and are exposed and being tested if necessary. As we continue to learn more about COVID-19, this video presentation will help reacquaint ourselves with the basic information like understanding how the virus spreads, can reinforce the importance of social distancing and other health-promoting behaviors. Knowing how long this virus survives the surfaces can guide how we can clean our workstations. And reviewing these common signs and symptoms of COVID-19 can help one to self-isolate and stay away from others. So just to give you a brief background about COVID-19, it all started with a strain of coronavirus which was first identified in Wuhan City, China in January of 2020. The incubation period of this virus is assessed to be between 2 and a maximum of 14 days, and with symptoms such as dry cough, sore throat, difficulty in breathing, tiredness, fever, loss of sense of smell, and taste. So the signs and symptoms may develop in the 14 days after exposure to someone who have this COVID-19 infection. Generally, these infections can cause more severe symptoms in people with weakened immune system, older people, and those with long-term conditions like diabetes, cancer, and chronic lung diseases. It is the last thing that we wanted was to become infected with the disease, right? So that is why everyone here in our community has a role to play in helping to control the spread of COVID-19. So how we will help control the spread of COVID-19? It is by staying alert and taking personal responsibility for our own actions and behaviors. We have made sure to create a working and learning environment that is safe and welcoming as possible. We then ask every employee, students, visitors, and others to adhere to the following adopted implementing guidelines and directives for all individuals who will enter the university premises. These are all formulated by our local health authorities from the Interagency Task Force, Department of Health, and other local government units based on the World Health Organization guidelines with regards to the COVID-19 health and safety protocols, which then these parameters were all approved by the Administrative Council of this university in order to keep ourselves and others safe. Adhering to these certain personal safety practices or health protocols is needed to reduce the risk of exposure and spread of COVID-19. So you can spread COVID-19 to others even when you are not sick or you do not feel sick. Our first health safety protocol is social distancing. All throughout the university, you'll find signages reminding you to keep your distance. Maintaining space between yourself and others is the best practice and is one of the best tools to avoid exposure to COVID-19 virus. People can spread the virus without being sick or knowing that they are sick. So it is very important to maintain social distancing from others whenever it is possible. So everyone on campus should follow these physical distancing practices like number 1, staying at least 6 feet from others, so that is about 2 arms length at all times. All workstations should be oriented to a minimum of 6 feet apart in all directions. Meetings should take place online instead of a conference room. If you must meet in person, then you have to wipe down surfaces, chairs and equipments after each use, and have to maintain as well physical distancing of at least 6 feet. You have also to do not gather in groups larger than the size allowable by the current local executive orders. Roving security guards are then instructed to apprehend all individuals who will not observe proper physical distancing. And lastly, handshaking and other forms of physical contact are discouraged. So all members of the CVSU community should enforce physical distancing protocols in common areas and places where individuals are likely to interact. So supervisors and directors will be expected to ensure employees self-enforce physical distancing protocols in all areas. Our second health protocol is the use of face coverings. Correct and consistent face masks and face shield use is a critical step everyone can take to prevent getting and spreading COVID-19 inside our campus. Make wearing a face mask and face shield as normal part of being around other people. And most importantly, know ways to make sure your mask and shield works the best it can, because this would always be very helpful to avoid being infected by the COVID-19 infection. Our third health safety protocol is daily health declaration. All persons, whether you're an employee or non-employee, entering our campus are advised and required to honestly declare their respective health status upon entering the university premises and to their respective offices on a daily basis by using our GoTrace application and to fill up the health declaration form. So why is it very important that students, faculty, and staff complete the health checks daily? So it goes back again to the 4 ways to protect ourselves against COVID-19, such as wearing a mask, socially distance, washing our hands, and stay home if we are sick. We should always be aware of our health to protect the rest of the community and to take care of yourself if you need the medical care. If you're not aware of your daily health, you might miss some symptoms like the loss of sense of taste and smell. By checking our health daily and becoming aware of our health, we will know when to stay home or when we are sick. So for you to participate in the contact tracing and reporting facility, you will need to log in using your employee credentials or employee number. In order for this application as well to be of the greatest assistance to CVSU Sikat community, we need everyone to participate. If you have specific questions about this application or its usage, we encourage you to stay in this webinar and learn more about our GoTrace application. Our fourth health and safety protocol is daily temperature scanning. One of the symptoms of COVID-19 is fever, right? So increasing our body temperatures is an early warning sign of infection. So for everyone's protection and safety, the university is requiring employees and students and as well visitors entering our school premises to take temperature to work each day. And as a rule, if a worker has a temperature of greater than 37.5 degrees centigrade, even after a 5-minute rest, or his or her response in the questionnaire needs further evaluation by the university nurse, it is then required for her or him to proceed to our designated isolation areas near our campus gates for appropriate health evaluation and advice. For non-employees whose body temperature is above normal range will not be allowed to enter the campus. All those who are feeling sick with fever, cough, and colds, and have a history of close contact with person under investigation or PUI or confirmed case of COVID-19, you must stay home and in isolation. Immediate consultation and treatment is warranted and must notify the health services unit for the necessary monitoring and evaluation. Our fifth health and safety protocols are simple hygiene measures that can help protect our family's health and everyone else's. Frequent thorough hand washing with soap and water is one of the best ways to prevent the spread of infectious diseases, and it is the first line of defense against COVID-19. Like a common cold, coronaviruses are spread through droplets from a person who is coughing or sneezing and via contaminated surfaces. Along with the other important behaviors like physical distancing, thoroughly washing hands often and at the key moments is very essential to controlling the pandemic. Observing also proper cough etiquette like covering coughs and sneezes can help prevent the spread of serious respiratory illnesses like influenza, respiratory syncytial whooping cough, and COVID-19. Following the best practices for health and safety during this time is essential for our community. So every member of this community should feel empowered to approach individuals who are not engaging in healthy behavior and to remind them cordially of the rules and the importance of the steps we are taking. Aside from our health and safety protocols, I will also be discussing some brief information about contact tracing, its importance, and the management of COVID-19 cases. Aside from health and safety protocols, I will also be discussing some brief information about the importance of contact tracing and the management of COVID-19 cases. So contact tracing shall be initiated after case investigation of every reported, probable, and confirmed COVID-19 case based on the Omnibus Interim Guidelines on the prevention, detection, isolation and treatment, and reintegration strategies for COVID-19 of the Department of Health. So our first core principle for contact tracing is contact identification. So in here, there is identified confirmed COVID-19 case, or we do have an employee who self-reports symptoms personally or through the DOH information systems and information coming from the local health officers that are, or these persons are included in the LGU's list of contacts and cases that shall be for case investigation. The second core principle of contact tracing is case investigation and contact listing. So case investigation is a part of the process of supporting patients with suspected or confirmed infection. So in here, I work together with public health staff like the Barangay Health Emergency Response Team or the BHERTS. We work with the patient to help them recall everyone with whom they had close contact during the time frame while they have been infectious. So there are so many questions regarding who are those persons na masasabi nyo na they are close contacts. Close contacts shall refer to persons who have experienced any of the following exposures during the 2 days before and the 14 days after the onset of the symptoms of a probable or confirmed case. So these criteria are coming from the World Health Organization Public Health Surveillance for COVID-19. So these are the criteria. You are considered close contacts if you have face-to-face contact with a probable or confirmed case within 1 meter and for at least 15 minutes. The second one would be direct physical contact with a probable or confirmed case. And the third one would be you have a direct care for a patient with this probable COVID-19 disease without using any recommended personal protective equipment like gloves, masks, or face shields. So in this case investigation as well, public health staff then begin contact tracing by warning those exposed individuals for their potential exposure as rapidly and sensitively as possible. So sino-sino po ba yung mga bibigyan ng warnings? So these are the second, third generation close contacts and general contacts po. So yung public health officials will advise them to self-monitor, to strictly adhere to the minimum health standards, and to report po for any appearance of the signs and symptoms of COVID-19. If every month na yung suspect case turns out to be a probable or confirmed case, then yung second generation close contacts will be asked to undergo quarantine or isolation, whichever is appropriate po. So during contact listings, we have to protect the patient's privacy. So contacts are only informed that they have been exposed to a patient with the infection. they are not told the identity of the patient who may have exposed them. So, during this time po, we cannot really reveal the identity of the person, the full name of the patient, but otherwise, we will just inform the close contacts to adhere to the minimum health and safety protocols requirements. In contact listing also, we have to identify all social, familial, work, and healthcare worker contacts who have had contact with the employee or the confirmed case from 2 days before the onset of the symptoms and until the time na mag-negative na po yung result niya. We have also to create a line list including po yung demographic information and geographic information at the barangay and situ levels, date of the first and the last exposure, date of onset of fever, respiratory symptoms, and other significant signs and symptoms, and thoroughly po to document the common exposures and type of contacts with the confirmed or probable case. So contacts who develop symptoms should promptly isolate themselves and notify po yung mga BHERTs natin, and they should be promptly evaluated for infection and for the need for medical care. So in case management, we have to emphasize the difference between the isolation and quarantine. So, ang isolation po refers to the separation of sick people with a contagious disease from the people who are not sick. So, ang intention ng isolation po ay to treat and monitor the suspect, the probable, and the confirmed case. So, ang isolation po, dito po ilalagay or yung mga cases po na i-handle natin ay yung mga nagpa-positive na po or yung may COVID infection na. But then, on the other hand, ang quarantine naman po, it refers to the separation and movement or restrictions of the people who were exposed to a contagious disease to see if they become sick. So, ang intention din naman ng quarantine po ay to keep the individuals away. So, kumbaga, ang quarantine ay intended for individuals that are considered close contacts and under observation to see if they will develop the COVID-19 signs and symptoms or if they will test positive for COVID-19. And for the treatment possible naman for those cases or those person na who have this COVID-19 infection, for those patients with mild COVID-19 disease, then supportive care lang po yung recommended. So this includes antipyretics for fever, oral fluids for hydration, and isolation in temporary treatment and monitoring facilities, or if possible po or if applicable po sa bahay na lang. Routine empiric antibiotics and routine anti-influenza drugs are not recommended for mild COVID-19 cases. So in here, kasi po, ang mga empiric antibiotics and anti-influenza drugs ay binibigay lang po sa hospital. For the patients naman po with moderate, severe, and critical symptoms, they shall be admitted to the hospital and shall be managed accordingly. And for the testing, so the currently recommended test to confirm COVID-19 infection is the real-time reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction assay test or the RT-PCR. So the RT-PCR detects the viral RNA of the COVID-19 virus. Yung testing po ng RT-PCR shall prioritize diagnostic testing of those exposed symptomatic individuals and close contacts. Otherwise, our government is also using the rapid antigen test as a substitute po for the RT-PCR. So, ang antigen po ay nag-a-allow for diagnostic testing of the suspect, including po yung symptomatic and asymptomatic close contacts who fit the suspect case definition and the probable cases definition. With regards naman po for the certificate of quarantine completion and medical certificate for fit to work, the provincial city or the municipal health officer, upon the recommendation of the MESU, shall issue a certificate of quarantine completion to all close contacts who shall successfully complete the 14-day home-based quarantine and is asymptomatic at the end of the 14-day quarantine. We all do have a role to play to protect ourselves and others, know the facts about COVID-19, and help protect the spread of rumors and the disease. So please follow and like the University Health Services Unit Facebook page and the Department of Health Facebook page for any new updates about COVID-19. And Really, it's all our personal responsibility for our own health and for the health of others. We are all in this together. If we wear a mask, socially distance, wash our hands, and stay home when we are sick. Your health and safety and well-being is our university's paramount concern. So if you do not feel well, please trust your instincts and contact me, your university nurse, for advice and treatment as needed. You may keep your questions and suggestions coming in our comment section, and we will provide our answers through our Facebook page, CBES UCCAT Health Services Team.